There is an old understanding, whispered rather than written, that hens are far more than simple domestic animals. Across cultures and centuries, they were observed not for strength or dominance, but for something far more subtle, their relationship with instinct, rhythm, and protection. Ancient societies did not see hens as weak creatures of the ground. They saw them as guardians of cycles, keepers of timing, and symbols of vigilance and quiet intelligence. A hen knows when dawn is coming before the light appears. A hen senses danger before it is visible. A hen lives in constant awareness, not anxious, but awake. Hens exist close to the earth, close to life's raw mechanics. They do not rely on power or aggression. They rely on perception, memory, and pattern recognition. They survive not by conquering, but by noticing. In this way, the hen became a psychological symbol long before psychology had a name, a symbol of instinctive intelligence, of protection, and of sensitivity that is not weakness but wisdom. Carl Jung understood this symbolic language deeply. He believed that what attracts us instinctively, without logic, without explanation, is never accidental. The images that return in our dreams, the animals that quietly draw our attention, the symbols that feel strangely familiar all rise from the unconscious. They are not decorations of the mind. They are messages, signals from parts of the psyche that formed long before language, long before social rules, long before we learned who we were supposed to be. The unconscious does not speak in sentences, it speaks in images, and animals are among its clearest messengers. Hens, in particular, carry a symbolic weight most people overlook. They are alert without being aggressive, protective without being loud, constantly aware of their surroundings while remaining grounded in routine and rhythm. They watch, they remember, they warn, and they shield what is vulnerable. They understand survival not as domination, but as responsibility. This is why hens resonate more deeply than we expect, because many of us survived in exactly the same way. Today, I want to invite you into a recognition most people never make. The hen you are drawn to is not about preference, taste, or surface appeal. It is not about which one looks calmer, stronger, or more impressive. The pull you feel is not aesthetic, it is psychological. The hen that stands out to you is reflecting something back, a pattern you live with, a truth you adapted to, a role you learned to inhabit quietly in order to stay safe. Jung called the mask we wear the persona, the version of ourselves shaped to meet expectations, avoid conflict, and secure belonging. Beneath that mask lies something older and far more honest, the shadow, not evil, not broken, but unfinished, the instincts we muted, the alertness we learned to hide, the sensitivity we were told was unnecessary or dangerous. And the hen you choose does not speak to your persona. It speaks directly to your shadow. Before you are 5 hens, each carrying a different psychological imprint and a different survival strategy of the human psyche. One hen is watchful and cautious, always scanning. One is nurturing and protective, holding space for others. One is solitary and observant, preferring distance. One is restless and expressive, always moving, and one is layered and complex, difficult to define. Do not analyze them yet. Do not assign meaning. Simply notice which one draws your attention without effort. Which one feels strangely familiar. Which one feels like something you already know. Take a breath and allow your body to register before your mind interferes. Because the hen that calls to you is not addressing your conscious identity. It is speaking to the part of you that learned how to survive before you learned how to explain yourself. This is not a casual personality test. It is a slow unveiling, a return to instincts you once trusted without question. And now, the moment that matters, which hen chose you. If your attention settled on the calm, grounded hen, the one that feels steady, familiar, almost invisible, then you are aligned with a psyche shaped by responsibility and awareness. This hen represents emotional vigilance, the kind that does not panic but prepares. You notice subtle changes in tone, mood, and energy that others dismiss. Your presence brings stability. People feel safer around you, even if they never say it aloud. Jung would associate this with an intuitive, protective archetype, a psyche that learned early that awareness keeps people safe. You read environments instinctively and sense when something is about to go wrong long before it does. You often intervene quietly, preventing problems before they become visible. But this awareness did not come from comfort. It came from necessity. Somewhere early in life, you learned that someone had to notice, someone had to anticipate, someone had to stay emotionally awake. So you did. Sensitivity became your survival strategy. Responsibility became your identity. Over time, you learn to equate safety with control. This is your shadow, not fear, but suppressed fatigue, not weakness, but unrecognized strength. You learn to protect before you learn to rest, to observe before you learn to express, to stay composed so others could feel secure. But even vigilance has limits. Even the hen does not watch endlessly. Awareness is a gift, but living in constant readiness is a burden. And this is where your journey truly begins, not by abandoning your instincts, but by learning when they are no longer required. If your attention moved toward the observant hen, the one that stands slightly apart, watching before acting, your soul resonates with vigilance. This hen represents awareness shaped by experience. You do not rush. You scan environments, people, and situations before committing. Somewhere early in life, you learn that safety comes from noticing what others overlook. You sense tension before words are spoken. You read tone, posture, silence. But the shadow of this gift is constant alertness. You rarely rest fully. Your nervous system stays half awake, prepared for what might go wrong. Growth begins when you realize that not every moment requires defense. Awareness does not have to mean fear. If you were drawn to the nurturing hen, calm, grounding, quietly protective, you carry the archetype of the caretaker. You hold space for others. You stabilize emotions. You absorb chaos so others can breathe. People feel supported around you, often without understanding why. Yet your shadow lives in responsibility. You learn that love is earned by being useful, by staying needed. Over time, this creates exhaustion and quiet resentment. Integration comes when you understand this truth. Care given freely must also be care received willingly. You were never meant to disappear into service. If your gaze settled on the restless hen, always moving, always alert, never fully still, you embody adaptability. You survive through motion, through change, through staying one step ahead. You reinvent yourself when circumstances shift, but your shadow is avoidance. Stillness feels unsafe. Silence feels threatening. You move not because you want to, but because stopping would force you to feel what you've been outrunning. Wholeness arrives when movement becomes choice, not compulsion. You are allowed to pause without losing yourself. If you felt pulled toward the dominant hen, upright, assertive, unmistakably present, your psyche carries leadership energy. You claim space naturally. You protect boundaries. You confront rather than retreat. Yet beneath this strength lives a quieter fear that softness equals vulnerability, and vulnerability equals loss. Jung warned that power denied its tenderness becomes brittle. Your evolution lies in allowing strength and sensitivity to coexist. Authority does not vanish when empathy enters. It matures. And if the hen that called to you felt complex, layered, contradictory, difficult to categorize, then you live between identities. You are many things at once, calm and anxious, confident and uncertain, independent and deeply relational. Your shadow is confusion about which version of you is real. But Jung's idea of the self was never singular. It was integrative. Wholeness is not choosing one side, it is allowing all parts to exist without shame. Each hen was never just an image. It was a mirror. You were not discovering something new. You were recognizing something old. Something that has been guiding your reactions, relationships, and choices long before you had language for it. Awareness alone, Jung said, does not heal. What is seen must be integrated. You are not here to reject your survival patterns. You are here to evolve them. To move from instinct to intention. From reaction to choice. And the moment you recognize yourself clearly, the moment you stop pretending you don't know, that is where transformation begins. If something in this journey felt uncomfortably accurate, don't ignore it. Insight only changes a life when it's honored. If this reflection resonated, like this video so it reaches others who are quietly searching too. Comment which hen spoke to you. Naming awareness gives it power, and if you feel this channel speaks to parts of you that rarely feel understood, subscribe. Not for content, but for continuity, because self-understanding is not a moment, it's a path, and no